Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Living in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and in today's video we're going to discuss 7 different places that would be awesome and great for you if you have a family or just you in general if you like all the things that I discussed. And today in the different areas we're going to discuss based off affordability and cost. We're going to do a full map breakdown of the area, some things that you can find to do around there, whether it's more nature, whether it's more shopping conveniences, and then we're going to discuss commute to work. And then at the end of the video I'm going to talk about the school systems in all 7 places, all in one little section instead of having to do the schools in each independent section. Stick around for the end of the video where I'm going to discuss the schools for every single section. So what we're going to do in today's video is we're going to put all the places on the little box. We're going to shake it up and we're going to decide where we talk about first, and it will be Ringgold, Georgia. So with Ringgold, let's discuss first the affordability or the cost of the area. The median price point of Ringgold is $354,000. When you compare that to Hamilton County, where Chattanooga is located, the median price point there is $375,000. So according to the area, Ringgold is more affordable than Hamilton County or Chattanooga. But something also that you need to know is that Ringgold is right over the border into Georgia, and it's actually in Chattanooga County, which will bring on different things that you need to be aware of. One of the main things is you're going to have state income tax living in Florida, whereas in Tennessee you have 0 state income tax. Now on the flip side of that, in Georgia you are going to have a lower sales tax rate, I believe 4.5% to 5%. And in Tennessee, within the Hamilton County where Chattanooga is located, the sales tax is 9.25%, which is a big difference. But again, Georgia, you have state income tax. Tennessee, you do not have state income tax. So take that into account when we're looking at the prices and the affordability of Tennessee and Georgia where Ringgold is located. So for the map breakdown portion of Ringgold, I just want to show you an overview. We have downtown Chattanooga right here. And then we have Ringgold. This is the border, the Tennessee-Georgia state border. And then we have Ringgold right there. So let's go ahead and go into Ringgold and let's give you a short little map breakdown. So Ringgold itself is very small. It's the smallest area and place that I'm going to discuss today. Ringgold downtown is really like that much, but you have kind of the greater Ringgold area, which encompasses all that. I believe it even comes up to here. It's a pretty wide area, but for the most part, when you discuss Ringgold, people really refer to mostly the downtown area. I know a lot of the people that are from Ringgold and live kind of a ways here, and then what I just said might upset them a little bit, but that's okay. So when we're discussing Ringgold, that's kind of what I mean when I discuss Ringgold, is a little bit more downtown. And along downtown, you have kind of a couple of main roads. So one of the main roads going into Ringgold is obviously you have 75 that runs north and south, right? It comes south from Atlanta, north this way. And another road is Ottawa-Ringgold Road that comes straight into Ringgold from Ottawa area. Typically, this is how most people on this side of town get to Ringgold. You take Ottawa-Ringgold Road down south. It's just a 2-lane road. You have nothing but, farmland or houses. Up here you have a subdivision, you have another subdivision up here, and just kind of houses all over the place. You have a train that runs along it for a little bit, but for the most part you have a lot of land and a lot of houses with bigger sized properties along Ottawa-Ringgold Road. But as we discussed Ringgold, you have Nashville Road, which is the main road that goes through downtown Ringgold, and over here you have like all the shops, the restaurants, Jefferson's. You have a lot of things to do there. And then here's where you have the nature trail, which kind of follows along right here, this little creek, which is one of the places that I'm going to discuss that has to do there. It's pretty, it's beautiful. You have right here is where you have the pickleball courts and the pool and a lot of open fields that, you have soccer leagues and stuff like that. So overall, there's not a lot to talk about as far as map breakdown of Ringgold, but just that there are a couple of main roads like Nashville Street that runs along Ringgold right here. And then you have Ottawa-Ringgold Roads that connects it to Ottawa, which goes all the way up there. And then you can get right here, East Brainerd Road, that goes towards the mall. So you have ways to get out of Ringgold if you want to. And you have 75 to go towards downtown, which gets there pretty quickly as well. Something I will mention with 75 when you're leaving Ringgold to go to downtown that you need to be aware of is the traffic. Is that right here in Ringgold, when you're leaving Ringgold and you're going towards the downtown area, you have 75 that comes up here. One of the main bottlenecks of traffic is right here. is right here, and that's because you have people going to I-24 that goes to downtown, and then you have 75 that goes up here. I don't know why, the way that they made it. It's a 2-lane, so all the trucks that come up from Atlanta that go to Nashville are trying to go into I-24. So there's a huge bottleneck here. Typically, it takes a while to get past here. So just know, if you're going to commute from Ringgold all the way to downtown Chattanooga, you're going to have to deal with this little area right here. Okay, so when we're discussing about things to do, in Ringgold, it's very much a small town. They do have a couple of trails. They have a nature trail by the creek, which is about 1.5 miles. I know sometimes in the summer when it's really hot, I've gone there with my family. We let the kids play in the creek. We get in ourselves too, so that's definitely nice to have there. But Ringgold also has a Ringgold pool that you can go and take your family. Right next to the Ringgold pool, you have pickleball courts that they just put up a couple months ago, maybe 6 months ago. I believe they have about like 8 to 10 pickleball courts. It's a bunch. Right next to that, they have fields where they host, you know, the Catoosa Soccer League and a bunch of other leagues. But you can go there and play with your kids. You can ride your bike along the nature trail there. It's definitely a nice thing to do and have in your backyard when you're living in Ringgold. And the next thing I want to discuss is kind of the conveniences or feel that you would have living in Ringgold. For conveniences, there are not a lot of a big branch stores like Target or Home Depot and places like that. You do have smaller branch stores, but for the most part, what you will find here is more mom and pop shops. Like you have the Ice Cream Creamery, which is absolutely delicious. Definitely go there when you are in Ringgold. And then you have other shops that you have, you know, a coffee shop. You have a bunch of little places right there in downtown Ringgold. So you definitely have this very small town vibe where mostly everybody knows each other, especially if you grew up there. So if you're looking for a really small town feel, Ringgold is definitely a place that you should look at. And as far as commute to work, of course, depending where you work with all these different areas, I typically tend to say people work more towards downtown Chattanooga or sometimes in parts of Ottawa or parts of Ottawa. So depending on where exactly you work and where you live, of course, you're looking at roughly 20 to 30 minutes. If you're going to downtown from Ringgold, it's about 25, 30 minutes. If you're going to certain parts of Ottawa and other places where there's big factories, it's about 20-minute drive. So it's not terrible, and that's going to be kind of a theme that you're going to see with commute to work with most of the places I discussed today. Most of them are within or under 30 minutes, which is a great positive. So Ringgold is definitely an option for you if everything I said appeals to you. And let's go ahead and go to the next place. Hey guys, real quick, I'm an agent in the area, in the greater Chattanooga area. If you love any of the places I discussed today, feel free to reach out to me on the number on your screen. I would love to help you move to the area. My team have helped over 100 people move to the area. We absolutely love Chattanooga and would love to help you move here if you're looking to make the move here. So that being said, let's get back to today's video. So let's see which area we're going to discuss next. The next area is going to be Cleveland. So Cleveland, Tennessee is actually on the county next to Hamilton County where Chattanooga is located, and it's called Bradley County. Cleveland, Tennessee, the median price point is $324,000, and I believe that's the lowest median price point of all the areas I'm discussing. And again, comparing that to $375,000 of Hamilton County, this is definitely more affordable when compared to other areas that we're going to discuss today. So now we're going to discuss map breakdown of Cleveland, and as you can see, again, downtown Chattanooga is somewhere in that area, and then Cleveland is all the way here. Now I know what you're thinking. Cleveland is too far away. I don't want to live over there. I hate commuting. I live in X place and I commute 2 hours a day from work. And I know on the map it looks far, but it's actually not that far, which is a plus. You have 75 that runs along the northern side of Cleveland right here. And then it goes all the way, connects to 24. That gets you to downtown. So if you live within this northern Cleveland part here, you get on the highway, and then from the highway to downtown, it's about 25 to 30 minutes. So if you live within that 75 range, you're 30 to 35 minutes max to downtown, which is a huge plus because people move here from, I've helped people from California move here that used to commute 4 hours a day, 2 hours to work and 2 hours back, which is nuts. But living further out and living in an area that's a little bit cheaper is definitely a plus for a lot of people. So that's something to take into account and to note. And then within Cleveland, you also have, you know, your highways that kind of circles the area. You have your highway that leads to the Ocoee. You have your, all this right here is mostly back roads. You have this road that leads all the way down to Dalton and Cohutta. Most of the time, there's not a lot of traffic within downtown Cleveland, which is on the northern side. We have Lee University in downtown. That can get a little bit congested, but it's still somewhat free flowing. It's never dead stop. So for the most part, if you're worried about traffic, there's not a ton here. unless you're going to commute all the way to downtown, which we'll discuss in a bit where that traffic lies. Things that you can do here, especially when we talk about families, kids love parks. My kids, we take them to the park all the time. They definitely have a lot of nice little parks in Cleveland. One of the main ones that I would suggest you visiting is one called Deer Park. It's really upkept really nicely. If you're in the area looking at houses or looking to see if Cleveland is for you, take your kids to that park. You're not going to be disappointed. But also Cleveland has the Cleveland Greenway. And the Cleveland Greenway is kind of like a paved little section that goes along many different parks. It goes through a lot of areas of Cleveland, and it's a great way to see the area, experience a lot of things that Cleveland has to offer while being active with your kids or your families. So if you are an active family, you like to do things, this would be a great way to get to know the area. Maybe rent some bikes at the bike shop and go down the Greenway, or just go for a walk. It's not that long. I believe it's 1.5 to 2 miles long one way and back. So you can either park halfway, walk there, and then walk that way. It'll be a nice couple miles for you and the family to get some energy out, but it's definitely something to know that Cleveland has this for families in the area. As far as conveniences and feel goes, Cleveland, just like Ringgold, like I already discussed, has a small town feel. Ringgold is definitely smaller. Cleveland is still smaller than Chattanooga, so it still has that small town feel, but Cleveland is growing really, really fast. You have bigger conveniences like Target and Home Depot and Chipotle and things like that where you don't have it in Ringgold, but with those conveniences, it's not as big as Chattanooga, so you still get more of a small town feel. Again, most people that are from here know each other. It has a very cute downtown, almost like a Hallmark movie type of feel. There's a lot of cute shops, there's a lot of restaurants that you can go to downtown Cleveland. So if you're into that small town feel, Cleveland is also another great option for you. When we discuss commute to work, again, depending where you work and where exactly you live, if you're going to downtown Chattanooga, you're going to be anywhere from 30 to 40 minutes. Now, if you live near 75, and I already discussed this in the map breakdown, it's a very easy trip to downtown is about 30 minutes, but if you live a little further from 75, it might be a little bit longer. Now, if you work in Ottawa or if you work in Georgia, it'll be way less, but for the most part, the most you're going to commute to work is anywhere from 30 to 40, 45-ish minutes, in my opinion. All right, so going to the next spot that we're going to discuss today is Signal Mountain. So when discussing Signal Mountain, the median price point is $696,000. This is probably the most expensive area of all the areas that we're going to discuss. When we compare that to $375,000 of Hamilton County, it's almost double of what the median price point is for the county. So as far as affordability or cost goes, it's definitely on the higher end of the price point, something that you need to take into account. So now we're going to discuss the map breakdown for Signal Mountain. And as you can see from the map here, this is kind of downtown Chattanooga, and you have Signal Mountain up here. Now, it is on top of the mountain, so obviously you have to go up and down the mountain. One of the things, if you're not used to hills, that freaks people out is driving up and down the mountain. If you visit from here from out of town and you go up a super winding road and it freaks you out, that's because you went the side entrance and not the main entrance. Okay, so let me show you here on the map. So right here, going up Mountain Creek Road, you have this windy little part. And the side road where you can find it, you go up this way on the side, and then we're just going to zoom in here, and you're going to see this windy little spot here. Let's see if Google Map actually has images. So as you can see right here, it's a very windy road. There's just enough space for one car to make a turn. So if you have a car coming down and a car coming up, typically what happens is this car will either wait for this car to do the wide turn down, or this car will wait up here for this car to go all the way around to come here. This road freaks out a lot of people, especially when you're not used to mountains. This will definitely freak you out. As you can see right here, is this super windy. So a lot of people say, I don't want to move to Signal Mountain. I went up this windy road. I don't ever want to drive that. That's because that's the side entrance. Now, if we come up the normal way or the main entrance, it's right here. It's a 3-lane road. It's not super windy. It's very easy. So just take that into account if you're coming to the area. And if you don't reach out to us to help you find a house, totally fine. But know that when you're visiting Signal Mountain, don't go up the side way, go up the main way. But for the most part, you have a main road that goes across Signal. I've never been in this road to get up Signal and been in depth stop traffic. I've been in it when it's been busy, but it's always free flowing, and getting through Signal, again, other than, school zones and stuff like that, is pretty free flowing. You're never really going to be stuck in traffic. And another great thing is that you're not super far from downtown. So if you live in Signal and you work in downtown, which we'll get to in a bit, but you're right here, going to downtown, is really like 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes if you come to South Side or other parts. So that's definitely a positive for Signal. And there's not a lot of bottlenecks when it comes to traffic from living in Signal and going to downtown or other areas. Now, what can we find to do in Signal Mountain? One of the best things about Signal Mountain is the natural beauty that you will find here. Obviously, as the name suggests, Signal Mountain, it's on top of the mountain. On the map breakdown, we talked about the ways to get up there. And one of the best things about this nature as feel, you have a ton of overlooks. No other area that I'm going to discuss today has the overlooks or the views from on top of the mountain, because this is the only place that I'm going to discuss that's on top of the mountain. But you know, Julia Falls overlook, you have Sunset Rock, you have a waterfall hike that you can get to. I take my kids there all the time. It's called Rainbow Lake. You park at the top of the mountain and you kind of hike your way down. There's a beautiful waterfall there. Beautiful hikes all over the mountain. So if you love hiking, you love overlooks, you like to be very active, this is definitely a place that you should consider because of all of that there. Now, something else that I will mention as we go into the conveniences and feel of the mountain, if you like being part of a very close-knit community, Signal Mountain is for you. Because it's on top of the mountain, like I discussed in the map breakdown, is that it's very tight-knit, right? So most of the people that live there, their kids also go to school there. Don't leave the mountain unless you want to go to downtown for a festival or something specifically. Typically, whatever you do is on top of the mountain, which we'll get to in work. You're going to work outside the mountain, but otherwise your kids and family activity is going to be on the mountain. There's a couple of nice parks up there. There's a community pool that most people go to in the summertime. There's hikes, there's running. People are always outside walking. So what this environment shows is that, you know, people love being outdoors. They love being part of the community here, the school systems, everything that has on top of the mountain. People are very tight and close. So if that's what you're looking for, this is a great option for you. And a lot of people flock to that area because of the natural beauty and because of the community that is built there. Now, as far as commute goes, more than likely you're going to work downtown or other parts of Chattanooga. So you're looking at least a 20-minute from Signal Mountain to downtown, depending on traffic, is 15 to 20 minutes. And then, you know, if you work in different parts of Chattanooga, it might be 30 minutes. Again, we're still within that 30-minute range as far as commute goes. So that's definitely a plus, but you are going to have to go up and down the mountain whenever, you know, you're going to work or you need most things. Unless you work on top of the mountain, which there are not a lot of things or jobs there, but there are some, you know, small doctor's offices and Pruitt's Market where, you know, you have some things like that, but more than likely you're working downtown. So the next area we're going to discuss is, I think we're down to 3 areas. Ooh. East Brainerd. So East Brainerd, the median price point of the homes here are $405,000. Again, comparing to the median price point of Hamilton County at $375, we're still a little bit above the median price point, but still within the affordability range of the Hamilton County area. So we're going to discuss now with the map breakdown for East Brainerd. Again, downtown Chattanooga right here, and then East Brainerd, you're going to see. And then East Brainerd, you're going to see the name here, but the area that I'm referring to is actually right there. Okay, so you have the mall, which is here, and along Gun Barrel Road, which is right there, you have a bunch of restaurants. You have Erlanger East Hospital. You have a bunch of things to do there. You have, like I mentioned, you have the mall here, and along Gun Barrel Road, you have the hospital right here. You have a bunch of things to do here, restaurants, movie theaters, stuff like that you can find here. So as far as traffic goes, you have East Brainerd Road, always relatively free flowing. You're right next to 75. So if you want to go up towards Cleveland or Knoxville, or you want to take 75 down towards I-24 to get to downtown, that's great. But most locals, or at least I do, I take 75 to 153. And then I get off on Amnicola Highway and I take this route to go to downtown. That typically has no traffic, just FYI. So for the most part, not a ton of traffic around you. But one thing that is happening in the area, they're making a off-ramp for the mall along 75 right there. And there's a ton of traffic going on there. So until 2027, there is going to be a lot of construction in that area. So the exits to the mall and things like that might be a concern. Just something to note for the next couple of years. There will be a little bit more traffic than usual. So from here, you're going to go to Ottawa or different places to do more outdoor activity type stuff. So things to do here, it's mainly circled or mainly around conveniences, which I'm going to discuss now. So as far as conveniences go, if you like shopping and restaurants, this is definitely the place for you. Our biggest mall in the area, called Hamilton Place Mall, is located here. And with that comes, you know, all the conveniences of Target, Whole Foods is here, Trader Joe's, Home Depot, Lowe's, Best Buy, like all the big chain stores is located in this area. So if you like to live close to that, if you like to live 5 minutes from the supermarket, 5 minutes from REI, 2 minutes from the mall, this is definitely a place that you should check out, because people move to this area mainly because of that. And the other reason why people move to this area are mainly Floridians. And here's why: because most of East Brainerd, on the left side where the mall is located, is relatively flat, and it reminds people of Florida. I grew up in Miami, and this area kind of reminds me of that. Florida is very much developed, and that's the feel that you will get here, and that's why a lot of Floridians like this area and flock to this area, because it's flat. They're not used to the hills, which is totally fine. But on the eastern part of East Brainerd, if that makes sense, it is a little bit more hilly, so just take that into account. And then commute to work. East Brainerd is right next to 75, so getting to downtown, 20-25 minutes depending on traffic. Other parts of Chattanooga, so you're looking at roughly 20 minutes is what I would say. But with construction work, and we talked about the map breakdown on traffic just a little bit, it is going to be more closer to 30 minutes. So from 20 to 30 minutes is what I would say as far as commute to work, unless you work, you know, in the mall. If you're a waiter, if you do many things, if there's a bunch of offices, doctor's offices, there's the Erlanger East branch of the hospital over there. If you work over there and lived in East Brainerd, it's gonna be 5 to 10 minutes top. And the next place we're gonna discuss is Ottawa. So discussing Ottawa, the median price point is $467,000. When we compare it to the median price point of Chattanooga or Hamilton County, it's $375,000. So it is above the median price point, but still not super egregious and not super high like other places we have discussed. So for the map breakdown for Ottawa, once again, downtown Chattanooga, and then we have Ottawa right here. I want to click on Ottawa so that you can see how far it spans, because it starts at the Georgia border and goes all the way up north there, and it's always changing, honestly. But if we take that out and we just discuss Ottawa in general, you have a main road that goes across Ottawa. It's called Ottawa-Ringgold Road here up until you get to this point, Lee Highway, and then it becomes Ottawa-Georgetown Road, because this road will lead you all the way up to Georgetown. And if you go south right here, it leads you all the way down to Ringgold. So that's the main differences there. Something to note is kind of this area right here called Collegedale. That's where the university is, which I'll get into what it has and all the things that is available. But you also have the parks and Imagination Station and the Greenway all within that Collegedale area. So that's definitely a plus. You have Cambridge Square, which is right here, and I'll get into that as well, where you can find restaurants, a really nice place to go for a walk. But for the most part, Ottawa is very big, but it's mainly nature surrounded by suburbs or houses, and it's a very big area. As far as traffic goes, the main traffic that you might get here is that when you get on exit 11 on 75, there is no exit until you get up to here close to Cleveland. And this road right here is flat, and then you go over a mountain and go into Cleveland. So there's a lot of truckers that go north and south here, and that bogs down the people going up the mountain or down the mountain, and it creates somewhat of a traffic going up and down. But once you pass that little mountain, it clears up a ton. Or once you come down and then the truckers come down, they don't have to worry about going too fast. It clears up as well. But that's just something to know. After exit 11, you're going to get a little bit of traffic in rush hour times in the afternoon. So when we're discussing things to do in Ottawa, I'm discussing more towards the middle Ottawa or more in Collegedale, where you can find more things to do. Now, one thing I will say is that there are a ton of trails in Ottawa, primarily in Southern Adventist University's campus. They have two mountains, White Oak Mountain and Bauxite Mountain, that they maintain and is free to the public 24/7, which is a great thing. I run there, you can mountain bike there, you can hike there. We take our kids there sometimes. They have a little stream in certain parts, and when it's rained a lot, kids can play in the stream. You're out in nature, and it's absolutely beautiful. Another thing that they have there, which is also in Collegedale, is the Greenway. It's a 6-mile loop. It starts at the university. It goes through the Veterans Park. It goes through the Imagination Station, which is a huge park that they're currently updating today. Then it goes through pickleball courts, which I believe they have 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 6 pickleball courts. Then it goes into the Collegedale Commons, Commons, where they have a ton of events like Fall Festival events, Chinese New Year events, Lemonade and Sunshine events. They have so many events there throughout the year with food trucks and things to do and vendors. And then after that, they have the newest park called Little Debbie Park, which is absolutely beautiful. A ton of space to play soccer, throw the baseball, throw the football with your kids. There is a zip line in that park. So if you like being outdoors, you love trails, you love parks, this is definitely somewhere that you should check out on your visit to Chattanooga. And then as we go into more of like conveniences and feel, one of the good things about Chattanooga, you have Cambridge Square. Cambridge Square is very beautiful. It has a kind of like a not oval, like a circular shape to where you have stores on the outside, and then in the inside you have this cute little park with a little stage. Sometimes they have performances there to where you can sit outside the restaurants, listen to live music, but for the most part it's just nice to, you know, eat something, get super filled up, and then go for a walk around and go for a walk in the park. We take our kids to the ice cream shop there and then let them run around, expend all that sugar and energy that they got from the ice cream in the middle. So it's really nice to have that in the area. You also have, you know, a bunch of golf courses, not only in Ottawa, but other places that I haven't even mentioned all over Chattanooga. So if golf is your thing, you definitely have the Honors Course or the Ottawa Golf Club that you can get pool access and all that stuff as well. And as far as the field goes to Ottawa, Ottawa is very big. So like the northern side of Ottawa is a lot more suburb type feel, but it's really nature with suburbs, because the suburbs aren't like just rows of houses everywhere. It's almost like it's a suburb within, you know, right next to a mountain with trees everywhere. So it's a different type of suburb feel. And as you get more into Collegedale, it's a little bit more of a tight-knit community because you have everything that I discussed. You have the Greenway, the Collegedale Commons, Little Debbie Park, all these places where people go to a lot, and you start making friends because you're always there. So the feel that you get in Ottawa is still of a small town feel where you're super close to Chattanooga. So if we talk about commute times, you're probably 20 to 30 minutes from downtown Chattanooga, depending where you live. So again, we're still reasonably within that 30-minute mark to anywhere you're going to work. The good thing is that there are companies within the Ottawa area that you don't have to drive too far for. One of the places is the Volkswagen plant. You also have McKee Foods that makes all the Little Debbie snack cakes. You have a FedEx hub, an Amazon hub there within the Ottawa area. But if you need to go to downtown to other places like UNM, Blue Cross Blue Shield, those type of corporations, you're about 30-ish minutes from there. All right, so the next place we're going to discuss is Hickson. So when discussing Hickson, the median price point is $372,000, and when we compare it to the median price point of Chattanooga or Hamilton County, it's $375,000. So we're actually a little bit more affordable, or a little bit under the median price point of the whole area, which is definitely A+. For this map breakdown of Hickson, we're going to do downtown Chattanooga right there. Hickson is actually located right over the river, and I would say Hickson entails that-ish, give or take. The main thing with Hickson is it's pretty big, but the main road that goes across Hickson is 153. And just so you see down here, 153, you can connect it through, this is 75. You get 153 north, and the main bottleneck or traffic that you're going to get in this area is right here. And that's because you go over the dam into Hickson. There's no exit ramp. So once you pass the last exit right there, you're pretty much on 153 until you get into Hickson. But even then, it doesn't have a ton of traffic, and it doesn't take forever to get into Hickson. And then you have 153 that runs along Hickson, and all on the side of 153 right here, you have nothing but stores and malls. You have some houses, have your Targets, your Buffalo Wild Wings, you know, Lowe's, all that type of place that you can find there. And that's why a lot of people live there, because they have a lot of conveniences and things. But the great thing is that Hickson borders the river all along right here. So you have Chester Frost Park, which is up here. I absolutely love that park. It's a beautiful park. You have access to boating. You have playgrounds there. You have camping, RVing. So if you like living close to water, definitely a great option for you. And something else that I will mention is if you live on the northern part of Hickson and think you're far from downtown, all you have to do is hit Highway 27. That's always free flowing, never has traffic that I've been on, and you're all the way straight shot to downtown Chattanooga, which is a big plus. So what can we do here in Hickson? One of the main things, or the main appeal, not the main appeal, but a big appeal of the area is that you can be closer to water. So as you saw on the map, the Tennessee River kind of runs on the eastern side of Hickson. So you have access to any water sport that you would love to do. One of the biggest parks in the Hickson area is Chester Frost Park, which is right on the bay. And in that park, you have, RVing, you have camping, you have boat ramps, you have a little beach with a little bit of sand that goes up to the bay. In the summer, they have these inflatable things that you can pay for and have your kids kind of run around. They have a playground right next to the river. They have boat access. You can fish there. Anything that you want to do water wise, you can definitely do here in this area. And as we get more into the convenience and feel that you will get here, I know I discussed in Ottawa that you have nature with a suburb in it. Here you get more of a suburb with nature feeling. So here you have a lot more of a suburb feel with a bunch of beautiful nature surrounding it. Whereas in Ottawa, you have kind of just nature and then you have a subdivision kind of in the middle. So that's kind of the differences in feel that you will get in each area. But that doesn't take away the fact that a ton of people love living in Hickson. It's a great area for families. I know a ton of families that live over there and won't live anywhere else, but they love that suburb feel and everything that it has because of the conveniences that you will get here. You also have a ton of conveniences. The second biggest mall in the area is over here in Hickson, right along 153, like I discussed in the map breakdown. And along 153, you have your Targets, your, all the big chain branch stores. So if you want to live in the suburb and be 5-10 minutes away from a Target or from Home Depot or from places like that, this is definitely a great option for you. And as you saw from the price point, it's a little bit more affordable when we compare it to the medium price point of the area. So that's definitely a plus for you. When we discuss commute to work, Hickson is one of those places that most people that live here work in downtown. It's almost like a suburb of downtown is what I would say. Not everybody, but more often than not, people that live here work in downtown or in some other parts like Volkswagen plants and Amazon or FedEx Hub also live in Hickson. So commute wise, you're looking at about 20 to 30 minutes of commute. Again, like I said, most times it's going to be within that 30-minute range. If you live close to Highway 27, you can just jump on that and be in downtown in no time. Or if you live on the southern part of Hickson, you can just take a couple back roads and get to downtown as well. So the commute time, 15 to 30 minutes and anywhere in between that. All right, and the last place that we are going to discuss is North Chattanooga. So the price point that you can find here in North Chattanooga area is $460,000 median. And we compare that once again to the median price point of the Hamilton County or Chattanooga area of $375,000. We're well above the median price point. So as far as affordability goes, you're definitely gonna have to pay a little bit more for living in this area for all the reasons that we're gonna discuss in a bit. Now for the map breakdown for North Chattanooga, again, downtown is over here. North Chattanooga I'm discussing is kind of entails all this right here. So for the North Chattanooga area is the main appeal is you're next to downtown. And I'll get into that more in detail, but for the most part, what you can see or what you can get here with roads or traffic, you have some bridges that go across the river. You have the Walnut Street Bridge right here, which is being repaired for a year, but you can still, that's Walnut right here. This one is the Veterans Highway. So you have a ton of bridges that you can go back and forth from North Chattanooga to downtown, which is a big appeal. You also have Coolidge Park right here on the river. You have river access, totally great. You have a ton of mom and pop shops right here, right next to Coolidge Park that you can go for restaurants or go buy some clothing or small things like that, trinkets. And then you have easy access into downtown, which is a big appeal to North Chattanooga. You can get the hustle bustle of downtown, but also live more in a suburb type feel over here just across the river. So what can you find to do here in this area? One of the main appeals or attractions to this area is that you're right next to downtown. You're on the northern side of the Tennessee River. All you have to do is cross a bridge and you're right at downtown, whether it's the Tennessee Aquarium, movie theaters, anything that you want to do with your kids, the Creative Discovery Museum for your kids, or if you want to have a night out with your spouse, go to bars or restaurants, that type of stuff. You live right over the bridge, which is a huge plus for people. So with being right next to downtown, you also have access to water on the northern side of the river. You have Coolidge Park, which is a beautiful park, and right there you can get access to the river. You also have a area to where you can take your canoe that slides right into the water. You can paddleboard, you can swim, anything you want to do as far as the water goes, you have it right right there. You don't have any boat docks that I can think of off the top of my head right there in North Chattanooga. You might have to go a little bit up north or a little bit further south down towards Lookout Valley area to get a boat dock. But for the most part, if you just want to paddleboard or go kayaking, this is definitely a great place that you have access to those things. Plus, Coolidge Park is a beautiful park. You also have a couple of other small parks in the area, so it's definitely nice to have those things there. Not to mention you have beautiful views of the river, of the mountains surrounding you, of downtown. It has a feel and a vibe of more busy life, so it's more for families or people that want to walk to shops, walk to restaurants. Maybe if you don't live closer to Coolidge Park, you can still drive to Coolidge Park, park your car, and kind of go out for a stroll. You can walk the walking bridge, which right now they're actually rejuvenating is what they're calling it for a whole year. But once that gets done, it's still going to be accessible, and you have other bridges that you can cross. You can just walk to downtown and go to a nice restaurant, walk back home. If you're looking to have more of an active lifestyle to where you want to walk to places, you want to visit some parks, you want to, go paddleboarding and early in the morning or canoeing, you want to ride your bike with your kids towards downtown, this is definitely a place for you that you should check out. You also have a lot older style homes mixed with some new construction homes. So you have homes from the mid 1900s that have been refurbished. So you get a lot different taste and variety when it comes to real estate as well. So with those older homes, that's kind of the different feel that you get here. You get the busier lifestyle with the older charmed homes. You have these roads, which I'll put some B-roll right here, that you have homes a lot closer together, but it's a little bit up a ways, and you have a really nice sidewalk with cars parked next to the road. Whereas other places I've showed you, it's a lot more suburb type feel. This definitely has a lot more of a downtown or busier, bigger city type feel that you will find here. As far as conveniences go, most of the things you will find here, other than going into downtown, is more mom and pop shops, more mom and pop restaurants. I believe you have a Walgreens or CVS right there next to Coolidge Park, but other than that, you don't have big chain stores. You have more local stores, which a lot of people love. A lot of people love walking to those places, supporting local businesses. But if you want bigger stores, you're gonna have to drive to other places to get to that. Okay, guys, so now we've hit the section that we're gonna discuss school systems, and we're gonna go through all the different areas. And how I like to grade school systems is I go to niche.com, and here's a list of the 2025 best school districts in the Chattanooga area. You can pinpoint that by the best school systems in Chattanooga, in Cleveland, in Bradley, in Hamilton County, all over. But we're just going to first discuss the school systems, and then we'll get into the county and different places in county. Okay, so just going off the school districts, we discussed Cleveland, Tennessee, and Cleveland is located in Bradley County. So the number one best school district in the Chattanooga area is actually Bradley County School District, where Cleveland is located. Also, you have Bradley County schools, and then you have Cleveland City schools, So Cleveland City School District is number 4. So when we're discussing Cleveland itself, you can live inside the Cleveland City, but you can also go to the Bradley County School District. I know it sounds a little weird, but according to this list, that is what it's telling us. The second best school district in Chattanooga area is Catoosa County, and that's where Ringgold, Georgia is located. So coming in at number 2, according to niche.com, second best school district is where Ringgold is located. So definitely a plus if you like Ringgold and want to move there. And then the number 6 best school district in the Chattanooga area is actually Hamilton County, where the rest of the areas that we have discussed is located, which we'll go into that. But if you want to see the whole list, you can see on the screen, Bradley County is number 1, Catoosa County number 2, Dalton Public Schools, which is in Dalton, Georgia, a little bit further south, probably 35 minutes south of Chattanooga. And then you have Cleveland City, which we discussed. Then you have Whitefield County, where Dalton is located. So kind of like Cleveland and Bradley County, you also have Dalton Public Schools and Whitefield County Schools, which is the same area, just city versus county. Then you have Hamilton County School Districts. So if we click on Hamilton County School District, it's going to take us in here. And as we scroll down, we can get the map and we can see the different grades of the schools in the outline of Hamilton County. So again, Cleveland is right here where Bradley County is. Ringgold is right here. And then all the other places I discussed is here. You have Ottawa, which is kind of all this. You have East Brainerd right here. You have Signal Mountain up there. And then you have Hickson kind of along the northern side of the river. So as we look at the map, it doesn't have a list of, best to worst, but we're just going to discuss the areas that we're going to talk about, or we have talked about, which is Ottawa. Right here in Ottawa, they gave Ottawa Elementary School an A-. They gave Ottawa High School a B-. And then you have Wolf, Teaver Creek, and a couple others over here. I would highly suggest, and I'll put that on the link in the description, that you come on this map, depending where you want to live, what grade that school gets, and see why they got to the grade that they got as well. I'm not going to go through every single one, but this just gives you a good indication on the school grades of the areas that I discussed, and maybe it piques your interest to do a little bit more research, or maybe this is just enough for you and you're going to homeschool or you're going to do private school. But this just gives you a basic idea of the area and all the places that we have discussed and the grades that you can find there for the schools. So that's today's video, guys. I hope I was able to answer your questions. If you want to move to the area, reach out to me on a number on your screen. Me and my team will absolutely love the opportunity to help you move to the area. We love Chattanooga, and we love bringing like-minded people that love the area and want to be part of the community here. Reach out to me, shoot me a text, give me a call. We'd love to help you. With that being said, until next time, take care and God bless.